but they're involved with gadgets. So here's my son doing his homework. So I always yell at Nate, hey, stop listening to the music, turn off the TV, turn off the radio, and start studying. And my son tells me, I am studying. And one of the reasons is we think this is information overload. But if you were born after the internet, you've never had information underload. That's the status quo. So as you're going through that, what some research is starting to believe is that they've now learned to attend to only the important things and unattend to the other things. So people say, well, Dr. Kapp, what's the research say about multitasking? I've seen research that says, yes, they can multitask, and I've seen research that says, no, they can't really multitask. We're all parallel processors. It doesn't matter. They think they can multitask, so they're going to behave like they can multitask. It's too late to lock them in a room with no TV, no screens, or whatever, tell them to do their homework. That cat's out of the bag. We're not going to do that anymore. So we need to find a way that we can help them learn through some of their technologies. And they're inundated with information. Email generates 400,000 terabytes of new information each year worldwide. Terabytes, 50,000 trees cut down, made into paper. Now, I personally know I could probably get 100,000 terabytes, so you probably split the other 300,000 among yourselves. But that's a lot of information to try to process, and that's just email. Now, look at television. It took the first Gulf War before we finally decided to put tickers on the bottom of screens. Now, how long has television been around before we decided we could do more interaction? Now, you can't watch TV without a ticker on the bottom of the screen, without a preview for something coming up, lots of different information. Text messaging and instant messages, kids do this all the time. In fact, they have redefined the term snail mail. And if you think about it, and this was from the Pew Internet Research Group, and if you think about it, think of what happened at Virginia Tech. The students said, hey, don't send us emails, send us text messages, because we don't read our email that much. And if you have students and you send them email, you know they don't read their email as much as they should. Decoder ring, how about Toucan Sam computer microphone in your cereal? Now, Fruit Loops, has anybody here ate Fruit Loops this morning? Now, they're clearly not aimed at us, right? We're not buying Fruit Loops. Kids are buying Fruit Loops. And what else does this assume? That they already have a computer, right? So the marketers know that these kids are tech savvy, have computers, and they're applying them. Also, Gushers. Anybody eat Gushers? Yeah, did you like it? It was okay. Yeah, they're sugary and I don't think they're very good. But you can win a free cell phone if you order Gushers. And these are aimed clearly at kids, age 9, 10, 11, 12, who are in technology. And it's really interesting. 84% of all teenagers own at least one of these, either a desktop computer, a cell phone, or a PDA. 44% own two. And the stat that really blew me away the other day that I saw it was 15% of 2 to 5-year-olds own a cell phone. Now, in this country. Now, I'm a guy, and I know a lot about kids, but not a ton. I didn't even know you could talk at age 2, let alone use a cell phone. So, right, texting. So I say this, and then one time I had a gentleman come up to me kind of sheepishly and said, well, yeah, my 18-month-old has stuff. I said, what do you do with the cell phone? He said, well, they like to play with it. They can have one button to call grandma and, all that kind of stuff. But think, what is a 22-year-old female going to be like if she started using the phone at age 2? Or a male at age 2? I mean, think of how tech-savvy and how wired they're going to be in the future. It reminds me of my son when he was 8 years old. This is me, can you tell? Actually, this looks like me too, right? The artist had quite a sense of humor. My 8-year-old son, though, 2 Christmases ago, came up to me and said, Dad, I only want 3 things for Christmas this year. And I'm thinking, awesome, 3 things, I'm getting off easy. I said, what are they, Nick? He said, well, I want a big screen TV for my room, a laptop computer, and a cell phone. I said, Nick, you're 8 years old. We don't even have a big screen and TV in our house. Dad, I want a big screen TV, a laptop computer. Well, that was the year Nick found out there was no Santa Claus. A little traumatic in our family. But a while later, he comes up to me and goes, Dad, you need to buy Nathan a cell phone. I said, Nathan, your older brother who picks on you, who beats you up, who fights with you, you want me to buy him a cell phone? Yes. I said, Nick, why in the world would I buy your older brother a cell phone? He goes, Dad, buy one, get one free. Duh. So they're pretty wired into the technology, and the marketers know this, and they're pretty savvy to that. In fact, FAO Schwartz, Toys R Us, and KB Toys all have declared and filed for bankruptcy in the past 8 years. Kids aren't buying toys, they're buying gadgets. More than 50% of teenagers will spend $100 on their next purchase, $200, 25%, and I'm sure even more, 500 or more when they buy the iPhone. Go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, you don't get a kid's meal, you get a laptop meal. But kids are carrying around a lot of power. So there was the Block 2 Apollo guidance computer that was used to travel to the moon, right? There were 2 of them, one in the command module, one in the lunar module. PlayStation Portable, does anybody have one or played one? A few people? Okay. You play games on them. You have Bluetooth internet access. You have Bluetooth access, internet access. You can download discs, etc. So 36,000 words of ROM. The PlayStation Portable is 32 megabytes. 2,000 words of RAM. 4 megabytes of DRAM, dynamic random access, and clock speed of 2, clock speed of 333 megahertz. So literally, you could go to the moon with what they're playing games with. So you can see why the Apollo 13 had problems, that and the fact that Forrest Gump was driving the ship. But that's a lot of power. And so we need to figure out how to tap into this power that they're just carrying around for granted. 1994 was the year that Time Magazine named the Internet Person of the Year. I won't ask you if you get that right. How old is a 13, well, okay, if you're born in 1994, you're 13 years old right now. In 5 years, you're hitting the community colleges and the service industry. You've never known a time when there wasn't an internet. It was the same year that the Sony PlayStation was born as well, so you've been playing games ever since that time. So think of how tech savvy those people are who don't understand, you know, what a floppy disk is, because they've never used one. I had about 3 years ago, I was videotaping my classes, and I would give the students VHS tapes to take home and look at. One semester I handed them out, and the students said, "What do we do with it? Where are we going to watch these?" I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We don't have. Does the library have these old machines?" So the technology is changing very rapidly, and they're adapting very quickly.